time, we have used the death penalty as the most severe form of criminal punishment. And although how we've used it has evolved, we should still abolish the death penalty in the United States because it does not serve as an effective crime deterrent, innocent people lose their lives to it, and it negatively affects everyone involved. One of the biggest misconceptions about the death penalty is that it deters crime. Not only does the death penalty not deter crime, but there's actually evidence that areas that use the death penalty more often actually have higher murder rates. An excerpt from the database procon.org from Emmeline Sokin-Huberty's article, 5 Reasons Why the Death Penalty is Wrong. The American South has both the highest murder rate and the highest execution rate, while other states that have less executions also have less murders. Additionally, the director of the Innocence Clinic at the University of Miami School of Law, Greg Torsino's 2009 study, found that only 5% of criminologists thought that the death penalty was effective. In a criminology class I took a couple years ago, we had to answer the question if it was better for a guilty person to walk free or an innocent person to be imprisoned. Most of us thought that it was better for a guilty person to walk free, and this is something that we have to think about when it comes to the death penalty. Which is my next reason why we should abolish the death penalty, because it does take innocent lives. According to an article from Forbes called "How Many Innocent People Are Actually Sentenced to Death?", at least 4% of people are sentenced to the death penalty are actually innocent. And although some of them are exonerated or the death penalty charge is dropped against them, there are still many innocent people that lose their lives to the death penalty. My final reason that we shouldn't use the death penalty is because of how it affects the people involved. Giving someone a death penalty takes a significant amount of time. The Attorney General on the case has to seek permission from the United States Attorney to seek the death penalty, and how much time it consumes does not stop there. To show you how long death penalties last, I'd like to bring up the case of Alfonso Rodriguez Jr. He was convicted of the murder of Drew Shadeen, who was a UMD student who was kidnapped, raped, brutally murdered, and then brought across state lines. And Alfonso Rodriguez was given the death penalty in 2006, but in the past year he had it repealed. And one of the prosecuting paralegals, Michelle Meyer, has now been working on this case for nearly 20 years, and she's still pretty actively working on it. Not only are death penalty cases extremely time consuming, but they also have a mental burden to the people who are involved in prosecuting them. Prior to interviewing Michelle Meyer, I interviewed another paralegal who was also on the Rodriguez case. And when I asked them about it, they said that they had to put the whole case out of their mind. So they gave me Michelle's phone number so I could talk to her. My last question for Michelle, and the one I was most curious about, was what the hardest part of working on a case like this was. And she told me that it was watching the family not only lose their only daughter, but go through the emotional ups and downs of having the death penalty revoked. The death penalty is not a black and white topic, as many of us would like to believe. There are so many sides and viewpoints to this complex topic, and it is important that we examine all of them. That said, if you feel like you would want to take action against the use of the death penalty, you can create or sign petitions or call your local, state, or federal government about not using the death penalty. Today, I talked about why we shouldn't use the death penalty because it is not an effective crime deterrent, it takes the lives of innocent people, and its effect on the people involved.